For the first time in history, Gallup numbers show 59% of Americans believe they are better off. This is a record, higher than it was under Presidents Reagan, Clinton, Bush, Obama, higher than it's ever been. This number has soared under President Trump.
Donald Trump is having a week that is frustrating lots of Democrats. President Trump's approval ratings, according to Gallup, are the highest they've ever been. 49% approve, 50% disapprove. That's much higher than they were when he was elected. I think his approval rating was somewhere in the 30s, and he still was elected.
In fact, his standing overall, his approval ratings right now are as high as they have ever been. On the Gallup poll, the highest it has ever been just this week.
Yeah, approaching 50% at 49%.
The president's poll numbers reaching a record high for him, with the Gallup poll coming out at 49% for the president on the final day of this impeachment saga. And then, the president being acquitted of these charges after they had spent 6 months trying to sort of build this case. It was a tough day for Democrats, and you could really feel that.
As far as the political impact, I think you'd have to say that Donald Trump is better off now than he was when this impeachment process began. He's had a number of bipartisan successes on trade deals. The economy is rolling along. The Gallup poll just came out. It's the highest he's had in his presidency.
I think the problem is for Democrats going forward, though, they spent years trying to drive this president from office through impeachment. What was the opportunity cost of that? Are they only known before the voters in the fall as the party of outrage and contempt? They'll need more.
I don't think the resistance will stop. I think we've seen that there has been it doesn't matter what the issue is, they will keep going. And so it'll be interesting to see what the next thing will be. But at some point, I think people do have to deal with the reality that President Trump has come out of this stronger than he was before, that not only are his approval ratings as high as they've been in his presidency, it is the first time the Republican Party in general has had majority approval in a really long time.
If you look at the recent metrics, the president actually, in the short term, we don't know how long it's going to last, has gone up during impeachment. If you look at an electoral map, I was looking at NBC Wall Street Journal data the other day and going state by state, the president's in the strongest position he has been in, perhaps in his entire presidency, but certainly in months.
I think that this acquittal this week was probably one of the best weeks of his presidency politically. While he was speaking, the head of the Democratic Party, Tom Perez, called for a recanvassing. And despite how angry they are and ripping up speeches and everything else that's being said, President Trump is winning politically this week, and he took that victory lap today.
This has been a pretty good 24 hours for this president, for the people who work for him, people who have gone through, frankly, some pretty bad days where sometimes the problems pile one on top of another on top of another.
And what happened? The American people are much smarter than the Democrats give them credit for. They saw through it. His numbers are going up. He's getting record approval ratings. And by the way, where we're seeing his numbers go up the most, in the battleground states that really matter.